You guys, nothing makes me more angry than when I read about a story about a child being hurt, abused, or just simply mistreated. There are a lot of fucked up stories that happen on a day-to-day basis, but nothing is worse than seeing a story about a child being attacked in one way, shape, or form. And that is exactly, unfortunately, the type of story that we're going to go over today. I do first want to apologize that if my voice is sounding a little rough, I don't know what's going on. I think I'm getting sick with something, but I just wanted to say I'm sorry, and this is just how it is right now. But you guys, let's jump into this story. Colorado boy 2 is left horrifically injured after suffering beating while being cared for by a care worker who was drinking. McKinley Hernandez is arrested over injury of 2-year-old boy Giovanni Reichardt. The boy was put in a coma after having blunt force trauma to his head and body. She won't admit to anything, Mom Stephanie said. She said she was drinking. It's very strange to me that people use the drinking excuse to excuse their terrible actions. You guys that have been on my channel for a while know that I like to have a drink. Me learning over the years firsthand, I found out that there are a lot of people out there that shouldn't be consuming alcohol, just as there are people out there who probably shouldn't be smoking weed. It does not affect everybody in the same way. Some people, like myself, affects me in a very positive way. I don't feel any sort of anger. I don't feel any sort of hostility. I feel pretty relaxed and at tune with myself. I don't feel as if there's any sort of bubbling aggression ever when I drink. I mean, ever. I'm never angry when I have a drink. And if anything, I'm actually quite a bit more lenient when it comes to things that should make me mad. But there are plenty of people that I've known personally that should never drink, because the moment any sort of alcohol even touches their lips, they can be aggressive. They can be looking for a fight. They can be looking for a problem that doesn't exist. All I know is if I had this issue, I wouldn't drink ever. I don't understand why you'd ever want to drink, knowing that when you do drink, you're just an angry asshole. And unfortunately, quite often, these angry assholes are in the presence of children. A Colorado mom is hoping to finally discover how her 2-year-old son nearly died, allegedly at the hands of a drunken, unlicensed childminder. Stephanie Reichardt left her baby, Giovanni, with McKinley Sloan Hernandez, 25, for an overnight stay at her home in Lakewood on September 1st. Hours later, her son was fighting for his life with blunt force trauma injuries to his head and body, and she received a chilling instruction from her friend.
At Children's Hospital in Aurora, 2-year-old Giovanni DiStefano continues to recover after family members say a child care provider injured him at her Lakewood home. That woman, 25-year-old McKinley Hernandez, was arrested on Thanksgiving night.
It's really hard to tell what exactly happened.
Giovanni's mother, Stephanie, is still trying to figure out how her son ended up like this after dropping him off at Hernandez's Lakewood home in September.
I received a text message about, I'd say 8:00 p.m. from the suspect saying that I needed to rush to St. Anthony's Hospital because my son went lifeless after a bath. Once I saw him and all the 50 doctors standing around him, I had to leave the room because it was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
Giovanni has now been through multiple surgeries, including one this week to reduce swelling in his brain. Stephanie says it's a relief to know Hernandez is in custody, but believes the felony child abuse charge she's facing is not enough.
I feel so relieved, but also I feel like she should be charged with more. I feel like it's attempted murder. She almost killed my child. I feel like what she's going to get sentenced with should be worth way more than what she's getting. She should never see the day of light again.
The little boy had been airlifted to a hospital and needed an emergency operation for bleeding on the brain that required part of his skull to be removed. He was incubated and placed into an induced coma and has required more life-saving operations since, with his eventual prognosis still unclear. We had a rough Thanksgiving this year, to say the least, his mother wrote on the child's GoFundMe page. He had surgery on Thursday and still suffering from a fever, pain, and discomfort, she explained. He's pretty swollen and his right eye is swollen shut, she wrote. But the distraught mother is still no nearer top finding out how Giovanni came to be battered within an inch of his life in the care of a woman she considered a friend. So yeah, I guess she was a friend of the family, which means this woman's been around this child several times. Makes me wonder if there's any type of indication of this behavior. Like, was there any kind of warnings at all? I mean, it seems very unlikely that someone just has a snap moment. I would assume there'd be a few warning signs of sorts that would lead up to believe believing this is possible. I'm going to assume that this woman drank around the mother at some point of time. Wouldn't you think there would be some kind of warning that you shouldn't have this woman drinking around your child? I don't know. Maybe it was some sort of one-off. I have no clue, but I would assume there would be some sort of repeated behavior, especially if they've been around this woman while she has been drinking at some point of time. Again, I want to reiterate, it makes no sense that this is so random. I think one of the biggest, most important things to take away from this story is pay attention to those that are around you a little more deeper than you normally do. And if you yourself have children, you can't dismiss anyone around you's behavior. You need to look at it with a fine-tooth comb. Otherwise, you might end up in a very similar situation. And as far as the mother's remarks that Hernandez should be charged with more, I couldn't agree more. This is obviously an attempt of murder. The only right thing Hernandez did was get the boy to the hospital, because I can only assume if she kept him at home even for 5-10 minutes longer, the bleeding on his brain probably would have killed him, and then we would have been looking at a straight murder charge. So I do think attempt of murder needs to be added to these charges, and I would not be surprised if the prosecution decided to add that to the list. But you guys, what do you think? Do you think someone being in a drunken stupor could, give them some sort of excuse to lower the charges in some way? Of course, they're going to use the argument that they weren't in the best place of mind, but we don't allow those who decide to drink and drive and kill someone, get low charges. They serve a pretty damn hefty prison time themselves. But I am very interested to hear what you guys have to say. And as always, do not forget to hit the like or that dislike button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you hopefully get notified every time I post a new video. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.